this is your last chance. After this, there's no going back. You take the zoom lens, you'll wake up in your bed, vlog whatever you want to vlog, perhaps even make a documentary. You take the prime lens, and you'll stay in Wonderland, and I'll show you how deep the rabbit hole of filmmaking truly goes. I have no idea where I came up with that reference. It was just for the sake of the reason that I have the habit of sticking blue tape on all of my gear, and I was figuring the idea of this video is to answer your question whether you should go with zoom glasses, they have their time and place, or whether you want to stick to prime glass, because obviously they also have their time and place. Most of us creators, especially aspiring creators out there, we're restricted by budget. It simply doesn't make economically sense to go with both. And you might be thinking that, hey, as a content creator just starting out, which one should I choose? There's just too many videos out there explaining the difference. Yeah, you know the technical differences, but what else? What about actually using them? This video will answer that very question. But first, let's rig up the background lighting again. Now, there are a few things to consider when you're deciding which path you want to go down. Not to list them in any kind of particular order, just as they happen to come in mind. Now, the first thing to look out on is, can you get one or the other for used or second hand? Because in my opinion, it doesn't make sense to buy one or the other at full price online in case you can get it for used second hand on the local Facebook marketplace by someone who's just getting rid of everything. Chances are you'll find a good lens for cheap used, and you can't argue with that. Buying camera gear used makes a whole lot of sense if you ask me, because you can visually inspect the external condition of it. I mean, it's literally covered in glass. It'll show up if it has been like abused, or then just when you're buying face to face, put it on your camera, test the autofocus that it's working, is the aperture working, in case it has a built-in stabilization, is that one working? If everything's fine, then go ahead, get that lens. I'm putting the responsibility on you to just look out so you don't get scammed by ordering it from Craigslist or somewhere, but that's an entire separate discussion. Secondly, I'm gonna actually discuss zoom lenses first. We all know that they're more versatile. You have the different array of focal lengths you can choose from, or obviously it's a zoom lens. If you aim to vlog, you're traveling, then the zoom lens is really your only option. Also, in case you're doing any kind of documentary thing, such as, shooting a documentary, then zoom lenses are the way you want to go. And then about prime glass, my general recommendation is that in case you're spending more time behind your camera than in front of it, then go with prime glass. Surely the lack of versatility requires you then to move in closer or further away to compensate for the lack of zoom and in order to be able to frame the shot as you want. But that's a nice thing. If you're an aspiring creator or filmmaker, you want to get that top-notch quality. There's really only one option for that. Prime glass is definitely the way, because you can't beat the optical quality that you get with prime glass. Unless we're again talking about some kind of Sony G Master or Canon L series, which are these 2,000 to 3,000 euro lenses, but then again they don't fit in with aspiring creators who are on a budget. So if you're more of a filmmaker type, that you're behind the camera, you're staging, then a prime glass is the only option. You're not going to look at anything else. So that's the general recommendation. If you're vlogging or traveling, shooting documentaries, go with the zoom. In case you're doing client work or spending more time just behind the camera in general than in front of it, go with the prime glass. Easy as 1, 2, 3, there you go, a quick answer. Well, what about those who are also in front of the camera, kind of as I am right now, and you also care about the optical performance? Then you kind of already answered the question in the question itself. Go for the prime glass. The only exception I would say is that in case you're using one of the more modern camera bodies that has some kind of oversampling in it, such as the Sony FX30, which shoots I think 6K image and it oversample or downsample it into 4K. I mean, the picture from the Sony FX30, it's super sharp. On the FX30 you can definitely slap on a zoom glass and you'll get super sharp image still. Whereas on the Sony a7S III, which I'm shooting on now, it's on the bottom end of average in terms of sharpness. The image you get of it, it's definitely not bad, but it could use a little bit more crisp of an image. And that's why I decide always to go with prime glass whenever I have the possibility to do so. So kind of you can do a bit of research on the camera body you're having, the sensor, and in case you need that tiny bit of extra sharpness, then go with prime. Other than that, just go with the zoom. And the final thing to keep in mind is, of course, bokeh. So in case you're setting up these cinematic looking scenes, but you really don't have the time nor interest to spend amount of time on set design itself, going with a prime lens might actually help you achieve that cinematic look in a way, because instead of spending time and energy and effort on set design, you can just bokeh the shit out of it by opening up the aperture to f1.4 or f1.8, because obviously the viewer won't pay attention to however your set design is taking place in case they can't see shit about it and it's just bokeh balls everywhere. So kind of a no-brainer there. I hope this cleared up some confusion on which path you want to go down. In case you have any further questions, please let me know down there in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. For more content creation things and everything about aspiring content creators, for you out there working 9 to 5 and looking to switch to content creation, this is the channel you want to subscribe to. Thanks for riding fences with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.